The Sega 12K, a shotgun based off of the Kalashnikov platform, and actually it gets its name from the Sega antelope that's native to Russia. And no, I didn't just know that off the top of my head. I just put Sega 12K in Google and the first thing that came up was the Wikipedia article. But I digress. I finally cracked and made my first shotgun build in Delta Force. Now at first, I was absolutely hating my life using this thing because beyond 4 meters, which is the maximum damage range for this specific weapon, it is basically a pea shooter. It's like firing a BB gun at your enemy, but once you start to adapt a little bit and acclimate to how you should be using this weapon and a little bit more strategy around it, it can be an absolute powerhouse in those CQB engagements if you make those CQB engagements, and we'll get back to that. So starting off with a blank slate here, just to show you guys, if we look at the range on this weapon, 4 meters. So yeah, it goes without saying that you'll need to be pushing your enemies to do good with this weapon. So starting off with the build here, for the barrel, you have 4 options here, but I simply chose to go with the S12K practical short barrel combo. It gives you a little bit of control, extra handling, and a little bit more accuracy, which is vital to this build and shotguns overall, in my opinion. So go ahead and install that, and then we can calibrate this with -50 grams and -10 millimeters because we don't really need the muzzle velocity, and we sure as hell don't need the firing stability either. For the muzzle device, so you get a few options here. A lot of them actually, at least what they say, is it reduces the aiming spread, so the shot is just tighter. Now the shotgun echo suppressor does that, so does the shotgun vortex choke. I chose to go with the echo suppressor because when you do get those nice flanks off on your enemies, it would absolutely suck if you were making so much noise that people would turn around and start firing at you. So I was getting much better plays with the echo suppressor on the build. So go ahead and install that. For the foregrip, we're going to go with the competition hand stop. Right up here somewhere. Yeah, right here. So the competition hand stop increases your accuracy by 12 and gives you extra handling at the cost of a little bit of control. But again, you're using this weapon in such CQB engagements that it doesn't really matter if you don't have a lot of recoil control. But you're using this weapon in such CQB engagements that the control doesn't really matter. So install that. And then we're going to calibrate this with +20 millimeters and -20 grams to get +4% ADS speed and +16% stability when moving. For the magazine, so the base mag only has 5 rounds, which is just atrocious. Then you have the 10 round option and the 24 round extended drum mag. I would highly recommend using the drum mag. The 10 rounds is not enough in my opinion, especially when you're coming up against multiple enemies, so install that. For the rear grip, I chose to go with AK heavy tower grip, and then go ahead and calibrate this with +50 grams and -20 millimeters to get a little bit of extra hipfire aim speed. Now you are getting control here, but the other side of the calibration was +18% aiming stability while breathing, which you won't be doing a lot of. For the grip mount, I chose to go with the balanced grip base because you get extra accuracy on top of all the other stats, which is great. For the stock, I chose to simply go with no stock. So the AK bolt cover, as you're going to be using this weapon mostly hip firing, so this gives you +12 accuracy, extra handling at the cost of the 2 other stats, which in this case isn't too much of a big deal. So go ahead and install that, and then I calibrated this with +50 grams and -50 millimeters to get extra hipfire aim speed and extra control. Again, the other side of that calibration is the aiming stability while breathing, which we do not care about. I actually didn't put an optic on here because I was pretty much only hip firing this thing. Considering how low the range is on this, it feels kind of a moot point to be ADSing. Charging handle, just positive stats, so it gives you +1 handling, so install that. And then for these 2 attachments plus this upper rail slot, I put Hornet handguards across the board to get even more accuracy, to bring it all the way up to 100 accuracy. Now I completely left out putting a laser on this build because I felt like it would give away my position, and again, I wasn't ADSing at all using the S12K. It really felt pointless to put a laser on there to get the hip fire accuracy because you're already at 100 at this point, right? And the laser, honestly, it just didn't bring much of anything to the build other than warning people that you're coming around a corner if they didn't hear you coming already. So the Sega 12K unlocks at operator level 15, and you will need to level up the weapon to 39 in order to unlock the panels, but all the other attachments are before that. So about halfway through the progression of the weapon, which is pretty decent. So just use your weapon XP cards because if you don't have that extended drum mag on here, you will probably absolutely loathe this weapon. Now, I'm telling you right now, this thing, as I said in the beginning of the video, absolutely abysmal at range. You do not want to use this thing even at like 10 meters. It's garbage. You really want to close the gap with your enemies, so you're going to want to focus on movement, taking cover to close the gap, and ideally you might want to play a character that has smokes. So Stinger's a great option. I was using him throughout my stint using this specific weapon. So he has a smoke wall plus 2 smokes. You can also use an operator like D-Wolf, which also has smokes plus the crouch slide and the motorized exoskeleton, which can help you again close the gap. I would also recommend having a trusty sidearm that you're good with, because if you're firing at anything that's a little bit further away, you're not going to be doing much damage, and chances are they're probably going to absolutely destroy you. So movement is your friend, cover is your friend, and smoke is your friend. Overall, I did end up having a lot of fun with this weapon when I kind of adapted my strategy to the strength of this weapon, and you can one-shot people in really close range engagements within that 4-meter range. You're one-shotting people to the chest. You're doing like 100 plus damage or something, which is just awesome because this weapon is also semi-automatic, so it allows you to deal with multiple enemies. So if you're getting off a good flank on any of the maps, you can surprise a lot of people. You can put a ton of damage into a group of enemies without even them noticing that you're there, allowing you to get multiple kills back to back. And when you get those awesome flanks, I promise it feels really, really rewarding. I honestly didn't think I would enjoy the S12K as much as I did. Again, it was just a question of adapting my playstyle to it and really focusing on closing the gap, using smokes, and using cover to my advantage. The share code for this weapon build will be in the description down below, as well as in the top pinned comment, as well as the G-sheets for all of my past builds in Delta Force. Let me know which weapon you would like to see featured in an upcoming video. As always, I will leave you with a few highlight clips of me using this specific build. In any case, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.
You're lucky to have me! Almost got blown up! Someone help! Thank you! You're in the curtains! You saved my